Detroit Den. We are back. Steve and Will talking Detroit Lions football. Before we get started, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Please don't forget that bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. Steve, what we talking today?
Well, you know what next week is? It's arguably the biggest week in Detroit Lions football for the 2024 season. Free agency starts on Tuesday. What's going to
bigger than
happen
the NFL
Tuesday?
draft?
Well, I think free agency is going to lay the path for the draft, and we'll have a better understanding of what possibly might happen on April 25th during the draft with Brad Holmes. But I think it really starts in free agency and what we're going to do.
You can respect it.
We're going to talk about some free agents today. We're going to give some final opinions, final thoughts. We've got a kind of a trade debate here. We've hit on L'Jarius Sneed. Should the Detroit Lions trade for him? We're not going to beat that up too much. I'll tag that video at the end of this one if you guys want to see our thoughts on that. But we kind of threw out another name, Greg Newsome, the cornerback for the Cleveland Browns. How do you feel about him? Is that someone we might be able to trade for? And do you think there's any smoke behind this rumor?
I've seen that bouncing around Twitter. I think that he's definitely a guy that's got some talent. I think he would definitely be an immediate upgrade. And what I love about him is he's got NFL experience and he's 23 years old.
I like his age a lot. Very young.
Yeah. So, I mean, getting a young guy with talent in here, obviously at a position that we need to elevate, buying a little bit of time for a guy like Emmanuel Mosley to get healthy and come back and help this team out. I think that it would be great if the price is right again. So it's all about that price tag to me. I did see that Kansas City loosely released, whatever you want to call it, rumors say, whatever, that it would take a second rounder for L'Jarius. I think that obviously it would be way less for Newsome. So if we're talking about a fourth rounder, we don't even have a fourth rounder, or some type of trade package. Maybe a trade package. We do have 2 third-round picks. I don't know. Maybe we get their fourth rounder, and I don't know. I'm spitballing. I haven't looked at any values or anything, but just spitballing. Maybe they give us their fourth, we give them one of our thirds, and then we throw a positional guy in there, or maybe a pick for next season or something. I don't know.
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, let's not do Hendon yet, but
I'm just trying to get the people wound up. You know how they get about their Hendon Hooker.
I already know, man. It's so crazy too, man. Not to bounce off subject, but it's like the people who think that Hendon Hooker is a mix of Michael Vick and Peyton Manning, or the people that think that Hendon Hooker is absolute trash, and why do we even talk about him when we got the best quarterback in the world in Jared Goff? It's like people are on such extremes on both ends of the spectrum. Is when you say anything,
2 different planets.
Yeah, when you say anything negative about either one of them, you get crucified. But whatever, we're here for it.
So why we think Greg Newsome is a realistic option is he's young, and the main thing with the Browns is they don't have any draft picks. They gave up the farm for Deshaun Watson, who hasn't worked out for them so far yet. Joe Flacco came off the couch and outplayed them. So if they're looking to maybe quote unquote build around Deshaun Watson with not a lot of offense outside of Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper, like their cupboards are pretty bare. So we think Greg Newsome's a name we might be able to look out for. Very young, drafted 2021. So 3 years in the league. He could come in and you said upgrade. I mean, this water bottle right here next to me is an upgrade over Kendall Fuller. So we need to do something to address the quarterback position. Again, this is a free agent show, so we're just throwing it out. We talked to L'Jarius Sneed. Greg Newsome, maybe. We're not going to go fully in depth. We don't know what it would cost, but we're just looking at some rosters and thinking who needs some help. Cleveland Browns were just a team that came up. But let's stay on the subject of defensive backs. This is, in my memory, one of the worst or thinnest free agents of defensive backs in recent memory. So I think we must get a defensive back either in free agency or in the draft. But since we're talking free agency, we mentioned those 2 guys that we could trade for. How do you feel about Kendall Fuller? I know we've kind of hit on it before, but it's been a little bit.
Kendall Fuller's my guy, man. I've since we started this thing talking about free agency, Kendall Fuller was somebody that I was looking at. I think that he is the perfect balance of ability and money. He's a guy that's not going to break the bank to get him here in Detroit, but at the same time, he's in a huge upgrade to what we have. He's just a solid NFL veteran player that will be able to come in and do his job on either side, whether you ask him to play the one or you ask him to play the two. It's going to be an immediate upgrade. And I think when you get into those situations to where you need a piece to come in and be solid, it would be a home run for a solid player. And again, then we start talking about the guys that we've signed, like Emmanuel Mosley, that get the opportunity to get healthy, come back. It was a normal situation for what happened for him. You're highly susceptible to tearing one knee after when you tore the other one, or tearing the other knee after you tear the first one. So now we've did damage to both of them. We're rehabbing. Both are hopefully coming back stronger. He'll be another piece that can come in and help this team. And ultimately, it's going to be about depth. Who is going to be able to get on the field and perform? And who's to say that we only signed one? I've also talked about other guys, so I won't jump the gun here. But Kendall Fuller is a guy for me. I would love to have him in Detroit. I think he's an immediate upgrade, and he helps this team out tremendously.
I got to say something about Emmanuel Mosley. The guy hasn't played football in almost 2 years. I think that's a problem. I understand. You can rehab an ACL. He rehabbed one, came back, played for all of 4.5 seconds. I think Xavier Worthy ran the 40 time faster than how much we saw Emmanuel Mosley on the field. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, Will.
I get it.
I have more questions than I do answers about Emmanuel Mosley. Essentially, he's not going to come back till probably at least mid-October at the earliest. We're talking almost 2 years removed from football. I know what he could do in San Francisco. He was probably their number one corner. For whatever reason, they kind of let him go. I loved the pickup when we signed him. I said, all right, this is a guy, when he comes back, we're going to be good. He comes back, gets hurt immediately. Now we're looking at a whole nother offseason, no training camp, no OTAs, nothing. He's going to miss all of it. I don't know if he even comes back before December. I just don't know. I have more questions than answers. So I think we need a Kendall Fuller, and I think we need at least one more corner just for some depth, just to sure things up. I don't know if that comes in the draft or another free agent, but I think cornerback, we are extremely thin.
I think regardless, we draft a corner in the draft. It's just a matter of when we're going to draft that corner, and free agency will be something that tells the tale on that. If we get a good, solid corner in free agency, I think that you can run the risk of getting one of those corners in the third round rather than having to go after one at 29 or moving up to go get a Quinyon or a Terrion Arnold or a Nate Wiggins. You know, so you can essentially take somebody later and develop them rather than being in a rush to go get a guy that needs to get on the field immediately and show their value. But with that being said, I still think in this free agency, obviously there's a bunch of different directions that we can go. We talked about a couple of trades. I think there's another guy that's worth talking no matter what we do, and that's Stephon Gilmore. And I know a lot of people are on the fence one way or another. Stephon Gilmore for a 1 year, or Gilmore on a 1 year deal, even if we do sign a Kendall Fuller, I think will help us out tremendously. I've talked about the value in that level of play coming into our facility. His if you watched any of the Patriots documentaries and seeing him being talked about, his ability to prepare for football games, how he goes about his business is absolutely being a professional. I would compare it to the way that Tom Brady prepares for football games. That's how he prepares to play the cornerback position, preparing week by week. Uh, you know, with the number one corner that he's or number one receiver that he's going to be going up against, how he takes care of his body, all of that. I would love to have that type of player come to Detroit and bring that to Detroit as well. But either way, there's an abundance of guys that you said it was thin, and to a certain degree, I do believe that and agree with it. But I also think that there's quite a few guys that can come in and help out teams. They're not going to be flashy. They're not going to be guys that are going to be, huge signings. We're going to have to trade to do that. If you want to, well, Jalen Johnson's off the table now. But if you want to L'Jarius Sneed, yeah, but if you want to L'Jarius Sneed, man, you're going to have to trade to go get him. You're not going to get him in free agency. So if we're not making those trades, there's guys out there. Stephon Gilmore is another one for me. How do you feel about Stephon on a 1 year deal?
I'll take a 1 year deal, but my problem is a 1 year deal. You're just kind of kicking the can down the road. Like, we obviously have a problem at corner. Stephon Gilmore, yeah, he's going to come in and be immediately your number two, but I mean, that's not really saying much because our number two cornerback was probably the worst in the league. 1 year deal. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's going out there and he's quote unquote locking down anyone still at these days, like he was in 2015 with the Patriots. But, I mean, I guess if I have to look at it as, is Stephon Gilmore an upgrade over Kendall Fuller? Immediately, yes. That's
Yeah,
how I
and then
have to look at it.
even if you think about kicking the can though, so if we kick the can to get through this season and get to a postseason, and then Emmanuel Mosley comes back healthy and is a contributor, or he comes back like he was or better with the San Francisco 49ers, we've now put a Band-Aid on it for just enough time for him to come back and be a contributor, hopefully at the end of this season, flowing into the following season. So I mean, kicking the can could reap some rewards as well.
And what if Emmanuel Mosley comes back and tears his ACL on the first play of the season again?
It's part of it.
Just saying, I would never hope that, but it's just, I don't know. Like I said, Emmanuel Mosley, lots of questions. Stephon Gilmore, I'll take a 1-year deal. It upgrades the Detroit Lions secondary a whole lot. What about a guy like Jordan Lewis from the Dallas Cowboys? Hometown kid, kind of, went to the University of Michigan, also a free agent, someone we're familiar with. How do you feel about him?
He's another one I like, man. I like what he was doing for the Dallas Cowboys. He's definitely a guy that could come in and contribute. He's definitely a guy, if somebody goes down, who could step right in and replace him and just play good, solid football. I like it. It's all about that price tag. If he comes in for a decent price, I think that's another player, another piece that you could see coming in and just being solid. So yeah, I would like it. I would be interested in it. He wouldn't be a guy like a Kendall Fuller to me that I would be coming in and asking to immediately play that cornerback too across from um
Sutton.
Cam Sutton. But it, nonetheless, if Cam or Lord forbid, whoever we get in goes down, I wouldn't be in a panic because Jordan Lewis had to come in and get some snaps.
Yeah, I think Jordan Lewis fits. Obviously, you could pretty much give me any corner, and I'm going to say it's an upgrade. I don't hate Kendall Vildor. I think we were just kind of scraping by with Jerry Jacobs not working out, Harris not working out. Just nobody seemed to work out to that cornerback too. And thank God we didn't lose Cam Sutton to a tweaked ankle or something last year. We would have really been hurting with essentially special teamers going out there and trying to play corner. So we got to fix that issue. We got to get some depth.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, man. I think we're going to see it. I just don't think that it's going to be sexy unless we trade.
I think Kendall Fuller's got to be the guy. It's got to be Kendall Fuller. I'm not saying all in, but I think a fair contract, something very similar to what Cam Sutton got, $10 million a year. I think that gets it done. I think they're the same caliber of player, just have the same two guys on the opposite sides. And like we've said before, nobody was talking about Cam Sutton until late in the season when he was starting to get torched. The season probably just wore on him. He might have had a tweaked injury. We're not making excuses. The NFL was not very kind to the Lions with the schedule and the receivers we had to go against the last 5 weeks. But nobody talked about Cam Sutton until he started playing bad the last 2 weeks of the regular season.
The great thing about the NFL and just life in general, man, is you can make one mistake and now everybody can say you're the worst player in the world, and they throw gasoline on you and light you on fire. But we love redemption stories. So if he comes out and he plays like a dog, like he did the first half of our season, I think we'll be right back to loving him, and we'll be apologizing to him and telling him how great he is. So I'm still not off of him as a cornerback one. I know everybody talks about that he's now all of a sudden not a cornerback one anymore, and he's trash and he's this. That's not where I'm at with him. I truly think that he has something going on. I heard rumblings that he was playing through some stuff. So I truly believe that's what it was, because you don't play the first half of the season lights out only to turn around and struggle as much as you did. A lot of plays you saw him stumbling and fumbling, I mean, like, what are we talking about by fumbling? I mean, falling down on the ground. I know he didn't fumble the football, guys, before you hammer me, but
Will doesn't know who carries the football in the
NFL.
Yeah,
you already know what comes, man. You can't say anything around here, but go ahead.
Let's get into some trenches. Let's get into some D-line. I think that's another area of need for the Detroit Lions. The big name out there in free agency anyway is Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
Sign him or pass?
It's the money, man. It's about the money. Amon-Ra St. Brown's contract is a little scary to me. And we haven't even gotten into Jared Goff's extension, which is also scary to me.
Or Penei Sewell.
So it's a matter of just coming up right now in these moments. Those are things that are going to happen right now, most likely. And when we're talking about Jared Goff getting upwards of $50 million, it's come out that Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get between $26 and $28 million. That's a lot of money, man. And when you're talking about bringing in Hunter, you're talking about 20 million minimum. So that's my only issue. How does the money work out? I know you can front load. I know you can back load. I know you can have incentive based. It's just a matter of, can it get done, and is it worth it? Is it better to go get Darius Robinson? You know, and I don't know what I believe on that yet, quite yet, but I do know that I would love to have a rookie deal rather than paying another piece to this puzzle, $20 million. This is a draft where I feel like there's a lot of guys that can contribute on the edge. Is that the direction that they're going? To me, in my mindset, when I look at the big picture, I think that there is corners that you can get in the NFL in free agency, whether it's trading or whether it's getting those guys in free agency. I think that there's guys available that can make this team a good defense. I don't see edge guys available without paying a whole crap ton of money. Right. Because even if and I'm sure you're going to talk about him, so I don't want to steal the thunder, but if we talk about Huff, who a lot of people like, Bryce Huff, we're going to pay him some money too. And he's a less proven version. So whoever we get at this position, we're going to have to pay money. I would much rather pay a guy a rookie deal on that opposite edge of Aiden Hutchinson, who we truly believe that can contribute, get our corners in free agency and move through it like that rather than the opposite.
I think I
What do you
got
think?
enough. I think I got an affordable option for you. But real quick, Daniil Hunter, yeah, just too much money. If we're talking like 15, 16 million, I'll take him the checkbook myself, but not my checkbook. I don't have that. You're gonna have to post date that one for like a couple Fridays from now. I don't have that kind of money sitting around. I have to move around a couple assets,
Yep.
but I got some cheaper options.
I know where you're going.
Huff, not 100% on him either, just because kind of a flash in the pan, inconsistent is kind of a question. I don't want to roll the dice and give a kid a big contract and say, yeah, you had 10 sacks last season, but you really only have like what, 12 on your career. I'm just, what's up?
I'm with you 100%. And I was just going to say, I'm not paying a rotational guy.
Yeah. I like where your head's at with the draft. Huff, he had one good year. I'm not paying a guy $18 million for one good year. Yeah. I've said since the beginning of free agency, I want a proven pass rusher, someone who I can count on. Now, I got a guy, Denico Autry, who I've talked about quite a bit. He's a little older, but he also has some ties with our new defensive line coach, Terrell Williams. I wouldn't bet on it, we might be able to get a little quote unquote hometown discount there. Yeah. If he really has a good relationship with Terrell Williams, highly productive, defensive end, fits a need. I think he would be a good fit. I don't think he's going to be $20 million. I'm definitely not giving him that kind of money. I'm thinking more like realistically, maybe between 12 and 14, I think is fair per year, depending. Not doing more than 3 years. I don't know. I'm not Brad Holmes. This is a tough decision, but I think he's someone you're going to have to pay, but he also is going to produce, and he's produced long enough for me to be comfortable with it.
Can I toss something at you?
Hit me.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Trade him for the number 1 pick.
Aleem McNeil. Denico Autry.
Yeah.
Braden Fisk. Good night, folks. It's over. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I tell you right now, I felt a little twinge downstairs.
What are we talking about?
Just a little flinch.
Go pay Kendall Fuller $10 million. Maybe sign a Stephon Gilmore. Let's go play some football.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea at all. I like Denico Autry, Terrell Williams, X Factor. He knows exactly what Denico's going to have left in the tank. The Tennessee Titans had a very good defensive line despite struggling mainly on offense, but their defensive line was very solid. And as much as I really wanted Jeff Simmons last year, Denico Autry this year is probably just as much. I think if we go out and we sign Denico Autry and Kendall Fuller, what you just did was you solidified 2 huge areas of need. And now on draft day, I don't give a shit what you do. Yeah. Draft 7 kickers. I'm just kidding. Don't draft 7 kickers.
Steve
but you get what I'm saying.
No, I do. I agree. And I agree with you, man. I think that we're more liable to see that. I think Denico is I haven't heard anybody but us talking about him a lot. And I haven't heard the correlation with our new defensive line coach and him talked about anywhere but here. I think there's a strong probability of it happening. And if we do that, I agree with you. Like now, even Johnny Newton, in a world where Johnny Newton slips to 29. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Byron Murphy.
Yeah, like in any of those guys, man. Like that's where we had our draft talks before, and we talked about there's gonna be a guy there that fits a role that can be a problem. It's just a matter of what we do in free agency making sense as well. So I don't know, man. All these free agents are the ones that we like. I really like a lot for the reasons because I feel like they fit our team. Even when we start getting into the cultural piece that we talk about, that's like the X factor. Not everybody can be a Detroit Lion. These guys could come in and be Detroit Lions with their attitudes and the way that they play the game. Just pros. So I just feel like this is probably what we're going to see. I would love to see opportunity to just draft, man. Just draft. Just feel good about your
Yeah,
draft.
I'm telling you right now, like I said, Denico Autry and Kendall Fuller are both signed by the Detroit Lions on Tuesday or sometime next week. Everyone who was laughing at us talking about drafting a wide receiver in round one, either it's Adonai Mitchell or Xavier Worthy, everyone who was saying that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it becomes more and more realistic.
Yeah, I love Adonai Mitchell, man. I know you talked about him the other day. He's another guy that I absolutely love. The only thing that the only thing that I want to add to his game is the way I wish he high pointed the ball like Xavier Leggett. Like if he high pointed the ball like Leggett, man, well, he probably wouldn't be there at 29 if he did that. But
Can I give
but
you a homework assignment?
talk to me.
I want you to just one play. I want you to go, and this is just one play.
Yeah,
I want you to go and watch the final play of Texas versus Washington when they throw
yeah.
it to Mitchell and he hangs in the air for.
He
Hang on. Yeah, he just
but
came down.
but the only thing that I will say, because I know what play you're talking about, is he poorly timed his jump.
Yeah,
Like
he did. He was timed.
you know, he ended up making a play based upon like it looked. I don't know better, I guess, because he poorly timed his jump. But when you watch him and Xavier Leggett, man, the only difference is to me, Xavier is going to attack that football, but to the contrary, when Adonai gets the ball in his hands, he's way more dynamic and explosive to me. So I don't know, man. You're 2-1 in the same. They both bring great things to the
I
table.
like Leggett a lot as well.
Yeah, so I like them both, man. I'm not a big DK fan, so when they keep on talking about Xavier and DK, if I'm picking between, the DK style or the Adonai style, I like Adonai style. So I don't know. I would love to see him there at 29 too. If we take care of business and we're just drafting a guy, we need an X receiver. So I don't know. Who knows, man? Let's get it done in free agency though.
Yeah.
Gun to your head. 2 free agents. We don't normally say one. Gun to your head. 2 free agents, and I'll even let you make it make sense. Who you getting?
I already told you, Denico Autry and Kendall Fuller.
Done deal.
Done
All
deal.
right.
And then I go out and draft anything. The only thing I think we go into the draft needing and absolutely needing more than likely is a guard. Like where do you can get a guard within the first you have 4 picks in the top 100. You can still get a starting guard. I don't care who it is. Cooper Beebe, Zach Frazier,
Christian Haynes.
There's options. You can go get a starting guard somewhere in that top 100 and be more than fine. Are they going to be a Pro Bowl player like Jonah Williams or Jonah Jackson? Maybe not, but we don't need a Pro Bowler. We just need someone who's really, really good.
I almost don't even want a Pro Bowler. I want a solid NFL player.
Yeah, like a Graham Glasgow. It don't have to be sexy.
Because you got to pay a Pro Bowler like a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, that's why Jonah's out the door.
You know what I mean? So,
that's exactly why Jonah's out the door. But
well,
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
with you.
Who's your 2? Anyone, even if it's not someone we talked about.
Honestly, it would be Denico is like a must, and then I mean, you pick your corner, man. Kendall Fuller is my guy, but even if we ended up signing somebody like a Stephon Gilmore on a 1-year deal, they'll put a band-aid on it, and then we had to wait until later on in the draft. Maybe if we had to go second round and get a Max Milton, if he's still there in the second round, you know what I mean? Like, and let him develop so he doesn't have to come right in and play. But I guarantee you, if we got a Max Milton, just to me, this is how highly I feel about Max. If we got him in the second round, and he wouldn't start for the first half of the season, most likely, but he would probably finish the year as a starter.
At very least, he comes in if there's an injury.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, guys, we're wrapping it up. NFL free agency starts on Tuesday. We've given you 2 guys. I must have either one of Kendall Fuller or Denico Autry. One of those 2, and I'm happy. They're realistic. They're affordable. They're both positions of need. Leave some names down below. Who is your must-haves? Leave 2 or 3 names down. We'll look into it. hit that like button. Guys, if you're new to this channel, subscribe, and we'll be back later with some more content.
Peace.